So I know I haven't done one of these for a while, and this is way, way late. I had asked for you to vote for a matchup for movies, I think in February. Am I that late? Apparently, yes. I'm sorry. So I have watched both movies, and I'm going to, I guess, talk about those. Apologies, I was going to look into different ways I could do mashups. I have not done that yet, so I'll just talk about them like I usually do here. Eventually, the goal is for me to have these in a much neater format, but we'll see. Eventually, I'll do that. The first movie I want to talk about is The Wizard of Gore. Now, this movie is an older movie. I think it's in the 70s or whatever that it was filmed. There is no reason why this should have been a boring movie. I mean, the premise is that this magician has a show in town, and throughout his act, he does different things that you would assume magicians do on stage, like sawing a woman in half and whatnot. The person that he brings up on stage to do this ends up leaving at the end of the show and ends up dying. And they die in the same manner, or displaying that the same injuries have happened to them as when they were on stage. So the entire movie is that and the police investigation. There is no reason why it should have been a boring movie. It was boring. They did do Gore well, so I will give them that. The acting wasn't all that great. The Gore was excellent. I loved it. I know I just said that, but it's so good I said it twice. And yeah, I know that we're in a time with lots of reboots and sequels and whatever. And this is the kind of movie that I actually want them to remake, because it will, I think there's no way that it can be worse than the original, because there is no reason why that movie needed to be boring. So what I can tell you right now, because the only thing that it had going for it, in my opinion, was the gore, I can tell you right now that the second movie that I watched, which was The Tank, and I think The Tank was a more recent film, although I didn't write it down in my notes. I think it's within the last 5 years that it was made. The Tank is also not a good movie, and that's the second movie that I saw. It's not a good movie. It's fine. I can definitely see an audience for it. There were things that I really appreciated of it, but it's kind of a movie. It beats Wizard of Gore hands down. In fact, we don't really have to go back and forth about who did what better, because other than Gore, it won everything. So what The Tank is about is this person who's kind of down and out finds out that he's left this property in the will of his family member, and he goes to this property to get it ready to sell. And in the property, he sees that there's a old water tank, and chaos ensues. And yeah, I want to say it's more introductory horror. I mean, you don't actually see a lot of things, they imply a lot of things have happened. You see more than you want to see of the monster at certain parts, but for someone that new in horror, I can see how this would be a good film. And they did some things really well. They did claustrophobic elements really well. They took total advantage at a good portion through the film where they, I think, utilized black space really well. So you can't quite see what's happening. So you're in suspense as much as the character's in suspense because you also don't know what's around this corner. And I think this set you up for a potential jump scare that didn't happen. There's not a lot of jump scares in this movie. And I appreciated that. I appreciated the build-up and the suspense, but not having the jump scare. I remember looking at reviews, and the tank didn't have all that great reviews. I agree. It's kind of a story as old as time type storyline. You know what's going to happen, or you have an idea of where the story is going to go. I can't say that it doesn't go in those directions. I can't say that it won't be predictable for a lot of you. But yeah, for a younger audience or for somebody that's getting into horror or whatever and doesn't know these kind of setups in movies, I think it was effective. The Wizard of Gore one, it's a really unique premise as far as like the movies I've seen. And so it's kind of a bummer that it was boring to me. It was just whatever. And I like older movies. So it's not the older style of movie that I had an issue with. I think the movie itself was just something that you can skip. So anyway, short video for you, but hands down, the tank won over Wizard of Gore. And I don't think I'll watch either of them again. I don't think either of them are good for a party necessarily because there's too much dialogue in both for anything to be on in the background. But yeah, that's my idea. Let me know if there's one or the other that you enjoy and you think that there's something that I've missed here. With that, I'm going to say whatever you're doing today and whatever situation you find yourself in, I hope you're having the best time. And I will talk to you later.